Welcome back to Small Changes, Big Shifts, Building Rhythm and Resilience Through Gratitude. Today I have some very special guests, and it probably is going to be a little emotional for me, so I'll try to hold it together. But Janet Stevenson is joining me, as well as Susan Brown, and they've been long-time friends, most of all colleagues, and I would say they've watched me grow up. So ladies, thanks for joining me on my gratitude series today.
Happy to be here.
So we're doing 40 days of gratitude. So here's my first question. Jan, I'm coming to you first. What does the word gratitude mean to you?
I would have to say choice. The choice to decide how you look at situations and how you respond to situations. And I think making the positive choice, to me, that's what it means, is that ability and that awareness and making that decision.
That's crazy. Jan, if my memory's right, I believe we started working together January 2nd of 2002.
One or two? One or two, I don't know.
Susan,
okay.
2001?
One, yeah.
So right after that. So January 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, January 2nd is a big day this year for me. It's going to be when I live to be
20,000 days.
And there's so many of my days are blessed because of both of you. So Susan, what does the word gratitude mean to you?
For me, it's giving back. I just feel that the more grateful I feel, the more I want to give back. And for me, gratitude is kind of a boomerang. It's, what you put out there in the world, it just comes right back to you.
And Susan, was it September 5th, 2001? Does that sound right? Is that our anniversary?
Yes. And I was a client even before that.
Yes. Well, I tell you, it's interesting when I think about my YWC days, which it's hard to believe will be 29 years next year. You two are just amazing gifts in that journey. And so today I wanted to talk about gratitude with you, but mostly I wanted to tell you thank you. I wanted to have the, I just wanted to tell you what you mean to me is gratitude. When people, if you never worked with an entrepreneur, and I believe that I was your first entrepreneur for both of you. Does that sound right? Both came from corporate America. It's a crazy ride. It is a crazy ride. And especially when you're, in 2001, I was, what is that? No, how many, Susie, what's that? How many years ago? 19, 20, 8, 19 years ago. Yeah. So I was in my 30s trying to figure it out every day. And I want to tell you, not in my 50s, I don't have it figured out, but I cannot imagine going through my 30s and 40s with anybody but you two. And so I wanted to say thank you so much for not giving up on me when I wanted to give up on myself a lot.
Thank you.
So
welcome. I'm so happy to have been part of that journey.
It was a crazy. It's a crazy ride, that's for sure. Trying to, I believe that your wellness station was ahead of its time back in 2001 and 2, and it's kind of exciting to watch it all unfold now. And Janet, you're at a new. What's the full name? I know it's a new
Aesthetics and Optimal Wellness.
Yeah. So tell everybody a little bit about, you work with a great team. Tell me about what you're doing these days.
So I'm a practice administrator. We have wellness, we do aesthetics, all kinds of wonderful things, regenerative medicine. We've got 2 locations now, one in up by the airport and then another one in the River Market, and a team of about 20 people altogether between the 2 locations, and almost entirely women. We have one guy on our team. He's our CFO, and it's Dr. Watkins' husband. So his job's secure. But it's just a great group of women and having a great time and trying to impact and make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. Well, you definitely caught the wellness bug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When you think about your years now in wellness, you came from the insurance industry. So I could call that kind of wellness, kind of. So what are you most grateful for as you think about the journey the last 20 some years?
I don't want to seem like I'm pandering, but I really think that I grew so much as a person and as a leader the years that I worked with you. And I think that's what I'm most grateful for, that I had some amazing opportunities. I met some amazing people and got to do some things that I think I would not have ever been able to do in a big corporate environment. And I think it helped me develop into the person I am today. And I'm extremely grateful to you for that opportunity.
Well, thank you. And, I think it's kind of real. Today is, I've been doing this series on 40 days and really thinking about gratitude from, I want to hear from people that I value and respect, but also a chance to say thank you to them. I don't know if people really get how stressful small business can be, especially when you're on the bleeding edge. We were on the bleeding edge for a long time. And to carry that weight, for you to have to carry that as a leader and me to carry it, you know how you see it, but you have no idea how to get there. It's such a big deal. And that's one reason why I wanted to say thank you so much. I mean, I remember, so many, I have so many great memories. I also have so many memories where the shift hit the fan and you're like, okay, what are we going to do now? So, and Susan, you've been still, what I love about Susan is it's always a good day when you're there. You know the clients, you remember their names, you truly love them. I always say I love my Saturdays because people are a little more relaxed and I know that you got the front and I just have to do my job.
Thank you. I do love our clients. I feel so blessed to work in a place where it's not always calm behind the scenes, but people are gracious and they're caring and gentle and kind. And you don't find that many places. It's a wonderful place to show up.
Well, I think you said it, there's sometimes we're swimming as fast as we can, like the duck underwater underneath, but a lot of people don't know that because of Janet, your leadership, and Susan, for you, kind of holding the fort down. So I'm curious, who is your role model for gratitude in your life, Janet?
Well, you're definitely one of them. And I think Patricia Bass would be my other, just in the way you both show up and just your presence and your just your gentle spirits really helped me to reframe and reset and take stock and see the good.
Yeah, well, Patricia's going to be on this show. I thank you. She's to be compared to Patricia on that. She's definitely has a lot of grace. Susan, what about under 20? Who is your role model for gratitude?
Under 20, I would have to say my grandparents on my father's side. Their home was between our house and my elementary school. And I stopped there every single day on the way home from school and got in so much trouble for doing that. But I spent so much time. My grandparents, they nurtured me. They spent time with me. And I've just always cherished that. And even at the time, I grew up in a home that was disciplined and you knew about manners, but they really didn't teach a lot of kindness in giving. That wasn't a priority. And so my grandparents were really the first experience I had. And then seeing my sister raise her children, I saw a completely different role model for what family could be. And then as I got older, working for you, I wrote you a letter last year at this time of year. And I told you, I've never been around anyone for this long period of time to have such an influence on me. And all of your kindness and your gratitude has really rubbed off on me. And I know if I hadn't been around you, I don't think the blessing bags would have ever become a thing. There's just so much I just feel like my soul is calmer since being with you. And so I thank you.
Well, thank you, because I know, like I said, people get to see the outside, but they don't necessarily see the ugly side. And I don't know if there's ugly, it's just the growing side of continually trying to do what's right, at the same time try to do what's right for your own family as well. But that there's people behind you that make you look good, and you both make me look good. And we have and I, not to dissert anybody else on the team, I could go through, and Janet, my nickname Murphy Brown for the first decade. I'm not proud of that. I'm just trying to figure out, how do we get it right? Because it's such a privilege to care for people. When people let you in their life. And Jan, I'm thinking about Lindsay, and I happen to know that Lizzie is just moving out as well. And by the way, Susan, Lindsay is moved out too from Janet, and you guys have daughters about the same age who I had the privilege of watching you raise. And I wonder what you would share with them about gratitude. For the people listening right now, wondering how do they talk to their kids through 2020, and what can they do with their young adults to make a difference? Janet, why don't you go first?
I would say that, and I've said this to Lindsay, that everything that happens, there's an upside and a downside, and it's how you choose to look at it. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about a choice. You have a choice on how you perceive what's happening in your world, and that you can either see the good in it or see the bad. And it's really where you focus your energy and your attention, and not to dismiss, because you have to acknowledge at some level the bad things, and maybe learn from that. But just being able to take any given situation and see the positive. And if like, for instance, Lindsay's job being eliminated, maybe there's a better opportunity coming. Maybe there's, you just don't know. You don't know what's in store, but just being able to see that as, okay, right now this stinks because I'm unemployed and I'm young and I'm trying to get on with my life. But being able to see that as, okay, this is a new opportunity, and what am I going to make of it? And I think she's done a pretty good job of that. And that makes me proud as a parent to be able to see her kind of walk through that and go, okay, all right, well, we'll just see how this plays out and see where this leads me. And, just
what makes me think about a story I recently read where somebody was driving someplace and they had a flat tire or something like that. I don't know exactly, but they got derailed, and they remember looking at a license plate in front of them. Okay, for whatever reason, they remember looking at and it just putting that license plate in their mind. And as they got back on the road, 5, 10, 20 miles ahead of them, that car was in an accident. And so I think it's just remembering that as painful it is in that moment, you just don't know what's around the corner. And we've had those moments. And that's what I want people to know. When I thought about this series, 40 Days of Gratitude, and one reason I did it, to be quite frank, is when we did the 31 Days of Kindness, people kept saying, can you do 365 Days of Kindness? I thought, whew, that's a big commitment.
That's a lot.
But my favorite thing is I love the holiday season, mostly because people show up with a grateful, generous heart, and that really touches my soul for many reasons. But I thought about my professional life, and I thought about my personal life, and I thought about my spiritual life, and I thought about my growing up life, and different buckets of people. And those buckets, and I don't think I realized, I didn't really think this deep in this conversation, but the people you work with know you about as good as that, probably know you better than anybody except the people you live with. And so I'm just so grateful you guys said yes to being on this, knowing all the warts and all that stuff. It's kind of funny, isn't it? We really do. So Susan, what are you telling Lizzie right now? How are you kind of trying to guide her during this fascinating time?
I think with all my kids, if I can teach them anything, it's kindness and gratitude, because everything else is going to happen. And, the world is really hard, and it is absolutely how you look at things, your attitude. And I try and teach them that, like Lindsay losing her job, there's a blessing right around the corner for her. And you just, even though you don't know it, you have to trust. And I've had, there's been so many things in my life that have been so difficult. And I don't really necessarily am glad I went through them, but it certainly has made me a stronger person, and it's made me more grateful, and it's led me on a path that I am today. And for that, I'm really grateful.
You know, when we think about this whole 40 days of gratitude and part of the encouraging is we have at the end of the email that goes out, this goes on social, but at the end of the email, there's kind of, did you know, and stuff for people to do. I got an email from, oddly, Patricia Bass, janitor, a text that talked about the question and really contemplating the question that day about thinking about people in your life. And so I'm hoping that people that are tuning into this are using this as a springboard for your own life. I'm being transparent and vulnerable with you, and just because I can. And it's just something that I just do the next thing. You may think I plan a lot of it. I really don't. It drops in, and these gals will tell you, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're doing that today. Okay. Yeah, you hear that. And I'm just trying to dial in and listen. And so I'm hoping that you are all listening to the little nudges you're getting to reach out to your childhood friend or your colleague or a parent or a grandparent or a neighbor or a minister that has helped shift you. And that's kind of my goal and my intention. My intention also to think about the people who've spent a significant amount of time with me on these 20,000 days. And whoa, it's gone fast, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's gone fast. So I've got just 2 more questions for you. Is there a story about gratitude you'd like to share?
I'll share. This goes back to when I was working at YWC and the Hoffman process, and you encouraging me to go and me resisting like crazy because I didn't think I needed it. I thought I was fine. I thought I was handling all the weird things that were coming up in my life. I thought I was doing a fine job, and I resisted, and I finally gave in and went. And that was probably one of the most precious gifts anybody's ever given me, was that experience. And I'm so grateful to you for that. It opened my heart in a way that I didn't know my heart could open. And it was amazing.
I agree. I went through the same process, and it was absolutely amazing. It is really life-changing. And you encouraged me as well, and I thank you for that.
Well, you know, like I said, there's many days or many moments, not days. I would say that my intention is always there. It's the question is how do I deliver it, and how do I not trip over my own 2 feet? And in the Hoffman processes, it was a gift to me. And it's just like gratitude. It's just a gift that you want to share with other people because you love them so much. You want them to see what you see in them. And thank you for saying yes and encouraging other people to witness that, because the only way we get through these crazy times is that we wake up as humanity. And we're grateful for this short time we have on life. You know, because if you figure 54 is 20,000 days, the average woman lives to be about 82 to 84. That's only 30 more years. And so I didn't do the math on that, but it's really only about 35,000 days. And whoa, that sure kicks you in the butt, doesn't it? It's like, okay, I got to get busy. Well, I want to tell you that if I was going to check out tomorrow and God said my time was up, my time has been so blessed because both of you. I want you to know that from the deep of my soul. But I have a quote for you. Do either one of you have a quote you want to share before we wrap up?
Sure, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and it makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow.
That's a great one. Janet, how about you? Got one in mind?
Mine's a little simpler. See the good, be the good.
See the good, be the good. So I picked a quote for you too. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Thank you for all the grace you've shown me growing up together. I'm full of gratitude for that. And thank you again for joining me on my 40 Days of Gratitude. All right. Well, I'll chat. Well, hey, I'll chat with you again tomorrow. Thanks again, you guys.